The following video has been approved by the Jetty marketing team. The video has been rated Jetty. The following video may not be suitable for all viewers. G'day mate, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and welcome to Dyson Sphere Program with me, Jetty. Today, we're going to be covering hydrogen and how to get more hydrogen. And the reason we're going to be covering hydrogen today is I've been streaming Dyson Sphere over on Twitch, that is twitch.tv/JettyPlays, and many people have been popping in the chat and asking me, how do I have so much hydrogen? In fact, my refinery is actually backed up on hydrogen and short of refined oil. So today, I'm going to be sharing my little trick with you. So for today's project, we're going to need oil. And we might as well have a lot of oil. So I've started over here. Actually, let's just go to map view. I've started over here with these two crude oil and this crude oil and some more crude oil here and here and here and here, because I want to make sure I had at least 6 crude oil per second, because that is the maximum a tier 1 belt can move, and it's probably the maximum belts you have when you're first unlocking oil. So, well, actually it will be the first belts you're unlocking when you first have oil. So I've brought all the oil to this point, and as you can see, 1.7, 1.9, 1.4, I'm at like 5-ish. And then I've tacked in, well, to another 4.5 per second to make sure I've definitely got 6 oil per second. So, first step is oil. Second step is the refineries. Now, the refineries themselves, we want to make sure that we're going to max out our belt, okay? As I said, we have 6 oil per second. We want to make sure we're going to consume that whole belt and get the maximum amount of hydrogen out we can. So if we hover over the recipe here, we can see they use just 2 oil over 4 seconds. And we can quickly halve those numbers down to 1 oil over 2 seconds, and then halve them again to half an oil over 1 second. And as we can only move 6 oil per second, because that's the maximum speed of our belts, we can build 12 refineries before exhausting the belt of oil. So as you can see here, if I zoom out a little bit, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the same on the other side. So we have 12 refineries overall, and that's going to exhaust our belt. At the same time, for a total of 12 refineries, this will give us 3 hydrogen per second, which I got to admit is not a lot, and we're going to want more. So it will also give us 6 refined oil per second, maxing out our output belt, hence why I've already pre-filtered hydrogen and refined oil. So if we look down here, if I just remove that sorter, and we put one back down again. As you can see, I already have refined oil on, well, it's a little bit hard to see, but there's refined oil on the left-hand belt and hydrogen on the right-hand belt. And what we can do is when we place down each one of these sorters, we can either press tab or press left and right to select what we want to filter. I obviously want to filter hydrogen on the right-hand side, so we just press enter and boom, done. So we're putting hydrogen on the right and refined oil on the left. And the main reason we're doing that is we're going to have 6 refined oil, which is going to absolutely fill that belt. And 6 refined oil, which is going to fill the left-hand side belt. And the right-hand belt is going to be running at half speed. So it's only going to have 3 hydrogen per second on it. So step 1, we have oil, and now we've turned all that into hydrogen. At least we will after we've added some power poles, because this is called completely unpowered currently. Actually, we'll turn that on just to make sure I definitely powered everything. Yes. Excellent. And as you can see, we're going to have refined oil right here, hydrogen right here. What's our next step? Well, the next thing we actually need, and this is the whole premise of this video, is you need oil cracking. Now, that's a little bit harder to get to, because obviously you've just unlocked the plasma extract refinery, which has given you oil to start with, and you're trying to get these red packs done, these energy matrices. So the very next research, you might notice there's even an arrow pointing to it to suggest what you should be doing next, is Xray cracking. So Xray cracking costs 400 of the electromagnetic matrices along with 400 of the energy matrices. So what I really recommend is get this up and running, even if you've got to store the refined oil somewhere else and worry about it in a bit, which we will sort out soon. But yes, get this up and running so you can unlock Xray Cracking. So once we have that unlocked, we can come back to our oil setup and build some extra refineries to enable Xray Cracking. Now, before I connect these belts, let's go through these four-way splitters, as they're fundamental to keeping this system working. Firstly, they both have priority to send resources across to cracking. The priority can be set by opening the splitter and just left-clicking on the ports that you wish to prioritize. I'm going to make sure the hydrogen goes out to cracking first, and I also need to prioritize the hydrogen coming back in from cracking. And same with the refined oil. We want to prioritize it to go out and onto cracking as well. And the main reason for these two splitters is it consumes, the cracking process consumes the 3 hydrogen per second you're currently making, and it also consumes 1.5 refined oil per second. So this effectively converts refined oil directly into hydrogen. So the two products the cracking system will make is hydrogen for the 3 per second it takes in, actually outputs 4.5 per second. So a 50% overall increase in hydrogen, and it now also outputs the energetic graphite, yes, which has an increased power density of 50% from the refined oil that it once was. As you can see, refined oil here has 4.4 megajoules worth of power. The graphene actually has 6.3 megajoules worth of power. And at the same time, if we look at the recipe again, we're taking in the 2 hydrogen, outputting 3. So if we're inputting 3 per second, we're actually going to get out 4.5. Nice, simple, great. Now, so for the simplicity's sake, I'm actually taking the graphene and I'm actually just dumping it straight into power, rather than turning it into the energy matrix, because it is required as a component of the energy matrix. And the main reason for this is, 1, it simplifies things. 2, if you're anything like me and just building 18 refineries, your power grid's probably not happy with you. Lastly, it ensures that hopefully this system never backs up, because we want to make sure at all times it keeps moving. Now, back to our splitters. Main reason for using these is later in the game when you move on to the energy matrix. So that is the yellow, when you move on from the energy matrix up to the structure matrix, being the yellow one that requires, are much heavier for refined oil, which means you can come into this splitter and actually have it prioritized going out this direction, and only if there's any spare will it actually move that back into the cracking process, which should hopefully balance out your oil products to a certain extent. Because yes, the structural matrix, the yellow one, has a much heavier requirement for the refined oil. So I do hope this has helped you with your hydrogen problems, and at the same time, if we make these guys go faster, we can definitely demonstrate that I do hope this helped you with your hydrogen problems. And don't forget, when you reach the next tier of belts, so when you unlock the green belts, the tier 2 belts, they actually move twice as many items, so you can just double the whole system and have twice the amount of hydrogen and twice the amount of refined oil. And finally, I want to thank you, the viewers. Many of you have been leaving comments on the videos, asking questions, and I especially need to thank those who have been coming over to my Twitch streams and asking questions there, and often getting their queries answered live. These queries are giving me many good ideas of what to cover next, which will probably be the inner planetary logistics, because I've had a lot of people ask a lot of questions about them. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button, and by all means jump down in the comment section and tell me what would you like to see answered next. If you're new here, click that subscribe button on the way out, and thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.